Well, I was starting to wonder if it would actually happen, but in chapter 18, it actually finally did. Dr. Yua is revealed as the bad guy. For a minute, I thought Herbert was trying to trick me when he told me that Yua was the bad guy many, many chapters ago, but nope, he was. But before we get into the details of how he emerges as a villain, if you like sci fantasy, you will love my book, Earth's Door. If you would like to learn more, please check out the description below. It's available in hardback, audiobook, and ebook. So, chapter 18 begins with the Duke, as he often does, reflecting as he stares out the window when he hears sort of a cat mewing noise. He naturally wanders down the dark hall to investigate when he runs across a dark blob. He investigates the blob closer and sees that it's the body of the smuggler. And this is one of the folks that was at the dinner party a couple days earlier. Now, highly suspicious, he continues to wander down the hall looking for the source of that mewing sound when he sees yet another blob, and this one's moving slowly across the floor. It is revealed to be the Shadout Mapes. She has a knife in her back, and before she perishes, says something about Jessica. At this point, the Duke is very alarmed, understandably, and he's going to turn on his shield. Not entirely sure why he hasn't done this yet, but anyway, suddenly a needle is jabbed into him. And who usually has needles? Doctors. And it is indeed Dr. Yua. And he has immobilized the Duke, who starts crumpling to the ground, yet the Duke realizes he can still speak. And he's like, Dr. Yua, how? Why? Because Dr. Yua, up to this point, had been a really, loyal person to the Duke. So this is where Yua gives a little bit of a villain's monologue. It's short and sweet, though, and he explains a little bit of what we already heard in previous chapters about how Vladimir Harkonnen had taken his wife, who was a Bene Gesserit, and Yua's not sure if she's dead or alive, and he really wants to find out. So he tells the Duke, after showing him a little tooth, you're going to kill Vladimir Harkonnen, and you're going to do it with this tooth. Before you do that, though, I'm going to read Vladimir Harkonnen to try to determine if my wife is indeed dead or alive. The reason he doesn't think he can do any of this on his own is he's not going to be able to get close enough to Vladimir Harkonnen, who is very likely going to get the Duke nearby so he can gloat directly to his face that he's been captured and, no longer the Lord of Arrakis and so forth. And while that's all happening, the doctor will read Vladimir, and then, the Duke will clench his teeth, blow out a little plume of death smoke, and both the Duke and Vladimir Harkonnen will die. I was wondering for a moment, why would he do this for Dr. Yua after Dr. Yua betrayed him? Well, it will literally be his last dying breath taking out his greatest enemy. So I guess that makes sense in terms of the Duke's character. So this chapter was short and quick, almost felt like anticlimactic, but I in some ways was pleasantly surprised by just how quickly we jumped into all this drama. I don't remember all this from the movie, to be honest with you. That was 5 years ago and I watched it. Maybe some of this was involved. I really don't remember the tooth. Forgive me if it was in there and I just forgot. But what I'm loving about this is the book and the movie have kind of become so decoupled from each other for me as I'm going through the story now, that this just feels really, really fresh. So I'm excited to see what happens here. And until we go on to chapter 19, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I hope you have a great day. Talk soon. Bye.